tips to prepare for retirement, however old or young you are, irrespective of the number of years you're left for retirement. That's what you're going to be talking about in today's video. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eva Mtali, and on this channel we talk about all things making money, mostly online. We talk about side hustles and we talk about passive income. But today's video is going to be a little different. It's a new series that I have added to the channel. We'll be talking about retirement, and it doesn't matter whether you're 20, you just started working. It doesn't matter whether you're 59, left with a year to retirement. This series is going to be very, very informational. It's going to be very, very different, very helpful, because I'm going to be interviewing retirees that I think have retired successfully, and they're going to be talking to us about what their retirement journey has been like, what made a difference for them, what challenges did they face towards going into this journey, how did they overcome them, and looking back, what could they have done differently, what can they share with us to enable us prepare adequately for our journey into retirement. And what better way to start this series than with my mother. This is my mom. She's of age, so she will introduce herself, tell you a little bit about her background, what her name is, how old she is, when she retired, what she used to do before retirement, what she currently does, and then we'll just dive into the business of the day. And she's been unwell and I came to visit her. I've been with her for about a week now. You must have noticed I have a new video location, but I just figured, you know what, I don't think there's a better time to do this video, because people are just getting older. She's not getting any younger. So I was like, Mom, you just have to sacrifice today, when she was feeling a little bit better than she has been. And she'll share with us tips, gems, things that have worked for her. So take it over, Mama. Tell the audience.
Hi, how are you? I'm Mrs. Lynette Adongo, a retired teacher. I'm 62 years of age. I retired in 2019. That was in June. And so far, so good. I'm trying to manage. I'm trying to survive.
So how long were you a teacher for? Like, when did you start teaching?
I started teaching in 1985.
Whoa, I'm sure most of you viewers were not born by that time. 1985.
Yeah. And so today I want to give you a few tips on how to prepare for retirement. First of all, you must accept that you're going to retire. Some people get into denial and they just imagine, what am I going to do after retirement? So just denying can give you a lot of stress, and it won't go well with you after retirement.
Okay.
So as I was saying, you must take it positively that you are retiring. Just accepting is one benefit that will help you go through the retirement period. For first, you must take it positively. Number two.
And what do you have to say for, okay, so of course accepting works for somebody who is, maybe I'm 57, but what if I'm like 25? On that aspect of taking it positively, what advice would you give somebody who's a little younger? Or
so as you grow, there are natural things that have to take place first. You one day retire.
No, also stop recording.
Yeah, so there are things that, even though most of the time we brush them aside or put them at the back of our subconscious minds, they happen. Like retirement is one sure thing. If you are alive, one day you have to retire. So as a young person, should start planning, should start start thinking about retirement, as much as somebody who is maybe of 58 or 59 years, even at 40, you should start thinking about retirement. So these are natural things, they happen. As long as they are alive, one day you have to retire.
Mm-hmm.
So tip number one, as you plan to retire, is get out of debts. You need to get rid of your debts as quickly as possible so that when you retire, you are a free person. There are no debts that will draw you back, keep drawing you back all the time. You want to pay this with your little retirement pension. So as you approach retirement, make sure you have gotten rid of all your debts. Number two, make investing your top priority. Try to invest in something as little as possible, and keeping some few chicken, or starting a small business like maybe a cereals business, having a small shop, such like. At least get something that will keep you busy when you retire.
So like in your case, which one? Yeah. Okay. If
In my case, I've started a small chicken business. I keep a few kienyeji chicken. It gives me some satisfaction that is very natural when I see my chicken around, and then I feed them. Then I just see them walking in the compound. It gives me a lot of satisfaction.
and she has dogs, you can hear them barking in the background. So just on to the issue of business. Yeah, maybe you can talk about, so do I wait until when I've retired is when I start the business, or when would you recommend for somebody to start the business, and why?
You don't have to wait until the day you retire or after retirement. Like in my case, 2 years before retirement, we were called to some seminars. We had a few seminars here and there with my fellow teachers who are retiring in that year. We were given a few tips here and there. They prepared us emotionally. They gave us tips on how to save, make groups, retired teachers groups. Then we discussed what we thought we would do after retirement. So maybe 2 or 3 years before you retire, you'll have a few seminars here and there, or you get advice from people who have already retired, or you just see around you, there are people who have retired, you see what they have done, and then you can take a few tips here and there. So you don't have to wait until the day you retire and then you start something. Like keeping chicken. In your daily life, you have a few chickens here and there. So when you retire, you major in this.
So what is the advantage so far for you, especially having started your business before retiring? How has it helped you vis-a-vis if you waited until retirement to start the chicken business?
I've gone into this gradually. I didn't even feel that, the maybe saying I was idle or I didn't have anything to do. It was so gradual. I didn't even feel it. I didn't even feel that I was retiring. It was like getting from one job,
transition, to the next
one job to another job.
And can you say that it
or
also
hobby or something like that?
Okay, so can you also say that it helped you because before you retired, you had the job, so you were able to learn about chicken keeping, and even if you were incurring some losses, you didn't feel them because you had this.
Yes. So even if there were losses, I could chip in here and there with my salary. So I didn't feel it as much as I would have felt if I waited up to the time I retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Number
you.
3, think about relocating. If you are maybe in town, you are teaching in town, now you're retiring. If you have a permanent house at home, if it could be cheaper than, staying in town after retirement. So think about relocating. For myself, I already had a home in my workplace, so I didn't need to relocate. Though I have a home also at home, so occasionally I go home. I also do a little bit of farming, plant maize, beans here and there, some sugar cane. So I just continue. I didn't relocate as such, but I now have 2 homes which I operate in.
So if I'm hearing you well, you're saying that it helps for you when you still have your job
Yeah.
to start thinking of where you're going to stay
Yes.
and build there instead of waiting
Until
you retire.
then you take all your pension money to start a new home. It's also advisable that by the time you retire, you already have a home where you're going to retire. Don't wait until you get your retirement benefits and start building. I'm telling you, you will not even finish it before you die. The stress involved will just make you die before you finish the home. You will have finished your pension money. You will have been so much stressed and die even before you enjoy the retirement money. So as you work, prepare also a home where you are going to retire in. Number 4, downsize your expenditure. Now that you're going to retire, you are going to live on a small salary, on pension. So try to downsize your expenditure.
And what are some areas, like especially for you, or that you'd advise somebody to downsize on, for example? Or areas like yourself you have?
Now that you are most of the time at home, try to have a kitchen garden. From your chicken you will get eggs here and there, meat from the chicken. So that will be a way of downsizing your expenditure.
Yeah, as you
Instead
can
of
see,
buying all the time, you can do some small gardening just
like
within
she's
your
doing,
home.
as you can see, she has most of these are fruit trees. The ones you can see here. Show you. So all these you can see, most of these passion fruits, you can even see one has dropped down there.
We have avocado. We have guavas. We have mangoes, bananas, cassava, potatoes, pineapple, and all that. Yeah, these ones I did before I retired. So now these are the things that keep me busy. When I wake up in the morning, just by going around my home, looking at the chicken, the bananas, the mango trees, the lemons. Right now, 1 lemon is 15 shillings for one.
It's 20 bob in Nairobi.
But I thank God. Once in a while, I just go to my shamba and pick one and squeeze and drink. So emotionally prepare yourself so that you accept these things as they come. By not preparing emotionally, it can be a very stressful life after retirement. You'll feel left out. You'll feel odd. You'll wonder what you're doing with your life, even though you have all that time. So another thing is to live within your means. By downsizing, your salary is now not as much as it used to be. So you'll have to downsize by doing other things like I've explained, starting a kitchen garden.
So what if I'm still, maybe I'm like 25 or I'm 30, yeah? So how would you advise me? So like what you've said will work for somebody who has already retired, but let's say I'm still 35, 40, I'm still earning my 6-figure income. How would that point apply to me?
You know, having a having a kitchen garden works for everybody, even those ones who are just starting work now. You know, it will supplement your income, it will be helpful living, it will give you some satisfaction. In fact, nature satisfies so much. So I would advise even those ones who are starting work now, or those ones who are just 35, or you know, they are still young, have a kitchen garden.
Na kama naishi kwa gorofa, where am I going to find a kitchen garden? Maybe you can talk about...
There are so many modern ways of farming these days, even in teens. If you go check around my home, I have so many things that I've planted in the teens.
Yeah, you can see some of them.
Yeah. Normally what I do is to, like the fruit trees you see around, I just planted them in tins. I ate an avocado, took the seed, put it in a tin, poured some soil there. It germinated, grew into a seedling. Then I transplanted it. I never bought any seedling. The fruits that I eat, I plant them in a tin. You know, the oil tins, you know, the waste buckets, broken, you know, pots. I make use of them to plant things around.
So this one applies to everybody living within your means. Yes. Applies to everyone.
Yes. And then one other thing is to start a business. If you are able to start a business, start one. It will be a hustle that will keep you, you know, going. For me, I never thought of starting any business because my health is not very good. I wanted something that I could do at my door. So I have a few, I do a little farming, and from the maize I get from my shamba, I sell them at my door here. So I'm also a cereal seller at my door here. I don't walk because I looked around and I said I don't have the energy, you know, to go to markets. Today I'm in Kibuye, tomorrow I'll be in Kericho, the next day I don't have that energy. So I thought of just farming at home, then bringing along the maize here, and people just buy from me here. That keeps me busy. So my compound is always having visitors, friends who come to buy, such like things. And if you are able to get a part-time job, you can also look for a part-time job. You know, there are some careers whereby you can get a part-time job after retirement. Like if you are a nurse, you can look for a part-time job.
And even during before retirement, yeah?
Yeah. So you can get a part-time job. Another thing is also, you can also start thinking about a hobby or an interest that you'd like to pursue. You know, like reading, writing books.
How many have you written? You need to write. This woman has so many stories.
I have so many stories, but
I keep telling her to write. Everyone tells her she needs to write a book, but she won't listen.
Yeah, so there are so many things you can do. Another thing is to find friends. You know, as you retire, your circle of friends are going to be very few because your workmates, you have left them in your city. Workplace or in the city.
So they're also old and tired.
Yes. As you relocate, look for new friends. Continue with life. You can offer yourself as a community service provider. Work for the church around you. There are so many things you can do with yourself to keep yourself busy so that you are not tired in the retirement. Otherwise, if you don't prepare yourself well, it can be very stressful. So find friends. And another thing is plan what you're going to do with your time. So I've said you have a lot of time in your hands. Volunteer in the church. Visit people around, the old friends whom you didn't have time to visit when you were working. This is now the time you can, one afternoon, you just walk around. Visit the old ladies of your age, or even older.
And for someone who is still young, how can they use the same point, like for planning for future? How do you plan now to make sure you can fill your time when you retire?
Yeah, the church is for everybody, the old and the young. So as you grow in the church, you'll find something to do as a young person. You can volunteer. Just even walk around and pray for the sick, for the old. Even just visit them, talk to them. That one you can do as a young person, as an older person.
So that when you grow old, you already know people.
Yeah, you continue with the same.
Okay.
You volunteer even in the community, visit schools, talk to girls, the nearest village school.
Or boys, if you're a boy
inspire
child.
the girls. Yeah, boy child, talk to them. There's so many things you can do in the community. And lastly, be positive and go out and do things. There are so many points for today. Let us end it there.
Okay, guys, you have heard it from our very first retiree in this series, Mrs. Lynette Adongo. Thank you so much for coming to the channel. I hope you guys learned a lot of stuff from her wisdom. She's 62 years old, so clearly she's been around for quite some time, and she has spoken from her own experience. Of course, we are very happy to host more retirees on this channel, and if you are a retiree who watches me and you want to be hosted, please hit me up. You can DM me on Instagram at Eva Mtali. You can look for me on Facebook, Eva Mtali, or you can just leave a comment below. Or if you know of a retiree that we need to feature in this series, let me know. As usual, give this video a thumbs up, share widely. If you haven't subscribed, make a point of doing so by hitting the subscribe button below. And once you have done so, hit the notification bell so that you do not miss our next interviewee in this series. It's gonna be exciting, guys. I am just so excited for this new series on the channel, and I do not want you to miss out. If you have any questions, let's meet in the comment section below. And that's it for today. See you on the next one. Bye bye.